clenching feeling in your jaw sometimes, or that heaviness in your chest, like a weight. It's so easy to just, brush that stuff off, blame stress maybe.
Right.
But what if these aren't just like random body glitches? What if they're actually very specific messages from your body?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We tend to think of anxiety as this thing we need to squash or fight.
Yeah.
But let's maybe think about it differently for a minute. What if anxiety, with all its physical feelings, is actually a pretty sophisticated communication system? Instead of just turning off the alarm, what if we could actually figure out what it's trying to tell us?
Right. So this deep dive isn't really about the usual stuff like just breathe through it. We're trying to look at anxiety, well, almost like it's information.
Yeah, data.
It's got the mental side, sure, the racing thoughts, but it's so tied into our biology, isn't it?
Deeply.
Think of it like your body's own check engine light kind of flickering on.
That's a great analogy.
It's signaling something's not quite okay. Could be physical, could be emotional, maybe something in our relationships, or even like spiritually out of sync.
And what do most of us do? We try to cover up that light, right? Maybe with medication or distractions, just anything to make the feeling stop.
Get rid of it.
But think about it. You touch a hot stove, the pain isn't really the problem, it's the warning. It stops you getting a serious burn.
Okay.
Maybe these anxious feelings are just like that crucial signals we ignore, potentially, at our own risk.
Okay, so let's dig into some of these physical signals then. That tightness in the chest. So many people feel that with anxiety. What kind of message could that specific feeling be carrying?
It's really interesting, that feeling, that constriction, often seems to pop up when we're dealing with, say, unresolved conflict.
Conflict.
Yeah, or maybe a situation where our boundaries feel like they're being crossed. It's almost like the body is physically showing that feeling of being pressured or hemmed in. Does that resonate?
Yeah. Now you mention it, I can think of times, maybe at work, feeling that pressure when a deadline's huge, and I feel like I just can't say no to one more thing. My chest definitely tightens up. Okay, what about stomach issues? That churning, maybe nausea. What's that about?
Well, the gut-brain axis, right. It's such a strong connection. So when anxiety shows up in your stomach, it can often mean we're avoiding something, something our gut knows needs attention.
Avoiding something.
Yeah, there's that unease in the gut because maybe fundamentally we haven't really processed, or you could say digested, some issue or some truth. It's a very visceral thing, a reaction to something our head might be trying to dance around.
That really makes you think. I've definitely had that awful stomach feeling before, like a difficult conversation I was putting off.
Common experience.
And the jaw clenching. Or grinding teeth, that's another one. Often happens without us even noticing.
Oh, absolutely. That could be a straight-up sign of chronic stress, sure.
Yeah.
But it can also be how the body literally holds on to unspoken anger or frustration.
Holding it in.
Yeah, it's tension. We're actively, maybe unconsciously, stopping ourselves from expressing. Like the body is clamping down on words or feelings that want out.
And the racing heart, that sort of jolt we associate so strongly with anxiety.
That's the classic one, isn't it? It's a direct line to the body's old survival kit, the fight, flight, or freeze response.
Right.
Even if there's no lion chasing you, our nervous system can read emotional stress, psychological stuff, as a threat. And boom, adrenaline release, heart races. The body's getting ready for action, even if no action is needed.
It's amazing how physical it is. One symptom, though, I think maybe gets overlooked sometimes when we talk anxiety is just feeling wiped out, that deep fatigue.
Yes, that's such an important one. Persistent fatigue can absolutely be a major sign of underlying anxiety.
Even if you feel like you're resting.
Especially then sometimes.
Yeah.
That constant state of being on alert, that internal tension, even if you think you're relaxing, it burns a massive amount of energy. It's like your nervous system is running a marathon in the background 24/7. It just drains your battery.
Okay, wow. This is really making me rethink those feelings I just thought were normal stress. So if our bodies are sending these signals constantly through anxiety, what kind of deeper things might they be pointing towards?
Well, if we sort of zoom out a bit, anxiety can often function as this really powerful internal compass. It's trying to point our attention towards things we haven't resolved, things we might be avoiding consciously or maybe not so consciously.
Like a nudge.
Exactly, like a persistent nudge, trying to get us back onto a path that feels, I don't know, more authentic or maybe just safer for us.
Can you give us some concrete examples? What might that gnawing anxiety actually be trying to tell us to look at?
Sure. Think about work anxiety. That feeling you might have about your job, it could be signaling that it's just deeply unfulfilling, or maybe even a toxic environment.
Even if everyone else says you should be grateful.
Especially then, sometimes.
Yeah.
That's the societal pressure, right?
Yeah.
But the anxiety is your body saying, hey, this isn't right for me, even while your mind is busy making excuses to stay.
That probably hits home for a lot of listeners, that feeling of being stuck even when things look fine on paper.
And it's very common. Or think about relationships, close relationships. Unmet needs there, they often bubble up as anxiety.
How so?
Well, instead of saying, hey, I need this, or setting a boundary, we might just find ourselves overthinking everything, worrying constantly about the relationship, feeling anxious.
Yeah, okay.
The real message underneath might be, something's missing here, or this doesn't feel safe, but we get caught up in the feeling of anxiety, not the need it's pointing to.
So it's almost like our bodies have this wisdom, this gut instinct. But our logical brain, our ego maybe, often tries to shut it down because the truth is uncomfortable.
Precisely. The body often knows. It detects the imbalance, the stress,
Yeah.
way before our conscious mind fully gets it, or frankly, is willing to admit it. Those first little feelings, the subtle unease, those are the whispers of anxiety. If we keep ignoring them, they can escalate. They get louder, turning into shouts like panic attacks.
It's like if the volume gets turned up.
It really is. It's a progressive signaling system designed to get our attention.
Okay, so this is key then. How do we actually start listening? How do we tune into those quieter whispers before they become shouts? What are some, practical ways to understand what our anxiety might be telling us?
Yeah, good question. This really gets to the heart of practicing body awareness, developing that skill. One really accessible way to start is with a body scan meditation.
Body scan, how does that work?
It's quite simple, actually. You just intentionally guide your attention through different parts of your body, head to toes or toes to head, and you just notice what sensations are there. Tension, warmth, numbness, tingling, comfort, whatever it is. No judgment.
Just noticing.
Just noticing. It's like opening up a direct line, a communication channel to what's physically happening.
That makes sense, like learning the language.
Exactly. Another really useful tool is journaling, but maybe with a specific twist. Instead of just writing down your anxious thoughts, which can be helpful too, try to really focus on when the anxiety shows up. And crucially, what physical sensations come with it. Where in your body do you feel it the most? What's the quality of it? Is it sharp, dull, vibrating, tight?
So connecting the feeling in the body to the context, the when and where.
Precisely. And then asking yourself some good questions regularly can be incredibly revealing.
Like what kind of question?
Things like, okay, what am I avoiding right now? Or is there a part of me deep down that doesn't feel safe? Maybe in certain situations, or just generally. Or what feels out of alignment in my life right now, like really out of step with my values or what I truly need.
Wow, those are pretty deep questions.
They can be. But perhaps the most powerful, the most central question to ask when anxiety comes up is simply, what does this feeling want me to notice?
Shifting the focus.
Yeah, shifting from why me, why this feeling, to, okay, feeling, you're here. What's the message? What do you try to highlight for me?
Now, something I think we absolutely have to touch on is shame. Because anxiety, for so many people, comes wrapped up in this layer of feeling ashamed about feeling anxious.
Oh, profoundly important point.
Yes.
That self-judgment is often huge. People thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just handle things? Why can't I just chill out like everyone else seems to?
And that just makes it worse, right? It's such a vicious cycle, the anxiety, then the shame about the anxiety.
It is. It's incredibly destructive. And it's so important to challenge that self-blame head on. Let me just say this as clearly as I can. Feeling anxious does not mean you are broken.
Right.
There is nothing fundamentally wrong with you because you experience anxiety. In the context we're discussing today, think of it as a signal. It's a sign that you're being called to pay attention to something important, something that maybe got pushed down or ignored.
So it's a total reframe. It's not a character flaw. It's
Oh, wait,
it's
no.
information, maybe uncomfortable information, but information nonetheless.
Precisely. It's about normalizing checking in with yourself, with your nervous system, just like we check on our digestion or whether we need sleep. Instead of that knee-jerk reaction to numb it or suppress it,
Yeah.
can we maybe approach it with a bit of curiosity, a genuine sort of willingness to understand, okay, what might this actually be about?
This whole perspective really shifts things, doesn't it? It moves away from this idea of anxiety as an enemy you have to fight constantly.
Towards understanding its purpose, yeah. It's a process, definitely. Learning to trust that your body actually has this innate wisdom.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. If you listening have found this deep dive useful, if this way of thinking about anxiety resonates, maybe consider sharing it with someone else you know who might benefit from this perspective.
Because ultimately, the takeaway is this. Your anxiety, it isn't the enemy, it's the messenger. It's trying to deliver something important. The real skill is learning to listen, learning its language.
So maybe just a final thought to leave you with as you go about your day today. Just pause, maybe for a moment. Ask yourself, what's one small thing I could do, just one tiny step, to pay a little bit more attention, to listen a little more closely to what my body might be trying to tell me?
Yeah, just that moment of curiosity.
Yeah.
That gentle check-in. It can be a surprisingly powerful place to start really understanding yourself and your own inner world a little better.